children, grammar is to be taken not so lightly. It should be taken quite seriously because this for past 7 to 8 months, you people are not coming to school, and obviously the direct interaction between teachers and students are not taking place. So we have not been hearing or interacting or having conversations directly in English the way it was expected in the school teaching or learning process or method. So it is good to go through some typical grammar if scientifically. Okay, now factual grammar, functional grammar in ICSE predetermines, rather it presupposes your concrete knowledge about the basics of the grammar. It is in this context in the second semester that I have been dealing with you in the grammar more and more in the scientific way of learning it. Today we'll be dealing a very important topic, active and passive voice. Children, you may say that there is only 1 mark question may come in the ICSE exam. But grammar is not for just for exam alone. Your basics of English, your basics of English is based on grammar. And active passive voice is very vital for your fluent conversation. So with this context and introduction, let us continue with the discussion. In fact, to give you the lessons on active passive voice, uh, you are expected to revise your tenses, because active passive rules and regulations are very much based on your tenses. So each tense will have a different type of settings or rules of the active passive forms of the sentences. Now still I'll be dealing with you this active passive sessions in the form of examples. But to do that, there are basic terms that you should be aware of, because in an active sentence there is a subject and there is object. Okay, so in the active voice, subject, when it is changed to passive, becomes the object, and the object in the active voice sentence, when it is changed to passive, becomes the subject. In these connections, there are some sentences where you will have not just in the active sentence, there is not just one but two objects. So in that type of sentences, we shall also discuss in this first portion of this active passive voice session. So our first example is Brutus stabbed Caesar. It is in the simple past tense, stabbed. Okay, and the answer is the Brutus is the subject, Caesar is the object. So Caesar, object will become the subject and the subject will become the object. This is how the formula it goes. Just it is because it is simple past, so that's why we have given the answer in the simple past tense form. Caesar was stabbed by Brutus. The people will make him president. First of all, it is simple future. Will make him now. The people will make whom? Him. What? President. You have got two objects. What? The people will make president. What answer is always called the object one, or called the primary object. Okay, and the people will make whom? Him. Him is the secondary object. So there are two objects. The people will make him, the people will make is called make president. So from these two you can give two separate answer. Here in this portal, we have starting with he. Okay, he will be made president by the people. Okay, he will be made president by the people. Why made and why make? Because it is in the simple future, but whenever we go for the passive voice, we always give the past participle form of the main verb that is used. So the past participle form of the main verb make is made. Who taught you grammar? Now here many of you till now are not very sure about how to start the answer of this kind of question. They say, some of you say whom were taught you, by whom, this and that. No, but you have to begin with by whom. By whom were you taught grammar? And at the end, please put that question mark, because it is an interrogative sentence. By whom were you taught grammar, or who were you taught grammar by? It's a very typical English language. We normally don't use that, but the first part we usually use. And then who taught you grammar? You is object, grammar is also object. So first answer was given by whom were you taught. Second answer is given by whom was grammar taught to you. So please try to understand both the answers are correct. Who taught you? So by whom were you? Who taught grammar? By whom was grammar taught to you? This is how we have to understand. Few more examples. The governor gave him a reward. Again, him and a reward. Two objects. So two answers are there. So him, he was given a reward by the governor. A reward was given to him by the governor. So please try to understand why there are two answers, because the governor is one subject, but there are two objects, him and a reward. Let us, if you are confused with the primary secondary object, forget about that, but at least you can say the governor gave him. Sentence is complete, so him becomes the object, and the governor gave a reward. Also sentence is complete, so another object, reward. So there are two objects, so we can give the answer in two ways. Starting from him means him is the object, will become the subject as he. A reward will remain as a reward. Active. The Romans expected to conquer Carthage. Carthage is a very important old city in Africa. Okay, so that was the Romans wanted to capture it. It's okay. The sentence. The Romans expected to conquer Carthage. It was expected by the Romans. See the sentence construction. The Romans expected to conquer Carthage, that remains constant. The Roman expected, it was expected by the Romans. Learn this way of making the passive sentences. One should keep one's promises. Now this one and this one, both the ones are now gone. Promises should be kept. You don't have to say that by one. It's not needed. Promises should be kept. I know her. She is known to me. These are very simple and very common sentences which we use in day-to-day life. My captors were taking me to prison. My captors means those people who caught me, arrested me. My captors were taking me to prison. Remember, taking. So it is past continuous tense. That ing has to come in the answer also. Now to do that, the main verb take, we have to do the past participle form of the verb take, taken. Then where will that ing go? Now the ing is coming in this form, being. I was being taken to prison by my captors. My captors were taking me. Me is the object here. So I was being taken to prison by my captors. His behavior vexes me sometimes, disturbs me, annoys me. Okay. So I am sometimes vexed at his behavior. At his behavior. Suppose you write, I am sometimes vexed by his behavior. Will it be correct? Grammatically correct, but linguistically it doesn't sound so nice. So it is better to say, I am sometimes vexed at his behavior. See this sentence. It is time to shut up the shop. Initially you will find but how to start this and how to make this answer. You see, it is time to shut up what? The shop. Okay, so the shop is the object, but in a very far way it is understood. So it is time for the shop to be shut up. To shut, to be shut up. This kind of formation of sentences, please, if you come across to, and if you read only and listen to English, you will come across to many. Okay, it is needed. They say it is needed. It's passive voice. It is needed. It is not needed. Okay. Active. The audience loudly cheered the mayor's speech. Obviously, the mayor's speech. The mayor's speech was loudly cheered. Now, this is a very, very common sentence. My pocket has been picked. Normally, who picked? Who picks? Someone. Otherwise, you have to say the pickpocket. By the way, there is no pickpocketer in English, okay? The pocket mar in Hindi, pickpocketer we don't say. We say pickpocket. The pickpocket has picked my pocket. Or simple, someone has picked my pocket. Yeah, you know that even grammar also can give you lots of vocabulary and good sense of English. Obviously, if you have to speak rightly and accurately, with stylish, with style, obviously grammar is the ornaments in your language. Our army has been defeated. Obviously, by whom? By your enemy. So it's not written there. But it is not written, it's understood. Because army, we are saying army, we are not playing a football match or a cricket match. Okay. So our army has been defeated. Obviously, the soldiers, the enemies. So the enemy has defeated our army. Has been, has. I shall be obliged to go. I shall be obliged to go. See the type of changes from passive to active. Circumstances will oblige me to go, because I shall be obliged to go by whom? Situation, conditions, circumstances. Okay, so that's why circumstances will oblige me to go. So now you have got lots of example. Now let us implement these examples in our understanding of active passive. Let's see from simple to complex. Premchand wrote this novel. So simple, wrote this novel. This novel. So this novel was written by Premchand. We admire the brave. The brave is admired. By we, not needed. If you write, it's okay. But if you don't write, it's still okay. In fact, we don't write. The brave is admired. I bought the baby a doll. See, there are two, baby and a doll. First of all, a doll was bought by me for the baby, or the baby was bought a doll by me. So two, because you have got two objects. One is baby, another is a doll. So two answers possible. In the exams, if you are asked, you can write only one answer, but don't get mixed up. They know me. I am known to them. They know me. Present tense. Keep your tense, children. They know me. I am known to them. To them. Should you write by them? Well, grammatically correct, but linguistically again doesn't sound nice. You say he is known to me. We don't say he is known by me. So I am known to them. He invited me to his house yesterday. Who invited? He. Whom? Me. I was invited. So I was invited. Rest to his house yesterday will remain as it is. They enjoy bathing. Now these don't get confused with this bathing. Bathing itself is not the used here as a verb, but is used here as gerund. So bathing is enjoyed by them. I opened the door was opened by me. I read the book long ago. I read the book was read by me long ago. Pakistan expected to win the match. Now, Pakistan expected what? To win the match. Well, it was expected by Pakistan to win the match. This is how we will write. It was expected by Pakistan to win the match. We have seen the example earlier. The master appointed him monitor. Two objects, him and monitor, but at the same time it is better to give the answer with only him. So he was appointed monitor by the master. Who taught you such tricks as this? And you have learned that start the answer by whom. By whom were you taught such tricks as these? Question mark at the end. Question mark at the end. Many of you are not is called following this rule, simple rule. Question, the sentence is given in the interrogative form. You have to give the answer also in the interrogative form. The boy is climbing the cliff. It is in the present continuous tense. So that ing has to come in the ing also in the answer. So the cliff is being climbed by the boy. Who taught me to read Persian? He taught me to read Persian. So I was taught to read Persian by him. Okay, or Persian was taught to me to read by him. Two answers possible, but it is easier to write answer he taught me, I was taught by him. He taught me, I was taught by him to read Persian. One expects better behavior from a college student. Yes, one expects better behavior. One expects. So it is expected to have better behavior from a college student. See that? One expects better behavior. So it is expected. It is expected to have better behavior from a college student. It doesn't really follow any of the tense format. One expects, it is expected. Or you can say it is expected to have better behavior from a college student. That's a okay simple way you can write. Yes, they showed a video of Titanic. A video of Titanic was shown by them. You must endure what you cannot cure. You must endure what you cannot cure. Now both way you can write both the side, otherwise only one side is enough. You must endure what cannot be cured. You must endure what cannot be cured. There are some complications you can also make. It must be endured. It must be endured what cannot be cured. It must be endured by you what cannot be cured by you. So simple, don't write the by you. So it must be endured what cannot be cured. These are some of the examples, and obviously there are millions of examples are there. Obviously they are all based on the typical tenses, and beside these there is affirmative sentence, there are negative sentences, there are interrogative sentences, there are exclamatory sentences, what not. Now this is the ICSE pattern questions I have just picked up somewhere. I just give you some examples of the ICSE pattern questions. You will not be asked in the exam to straightway write change to active or change to passive, but they will obviously do it. They will give you the question in the form of do as directed, given the directions will be given in the bracket. So this is some few examples, the few examples that I am giving you. But I remind you once again, this session is not just for your exams only, because obviously in your final exam or whichever exam you go for, only 1 mark question will come in the form of active passive voice. But this is your lifetime learning, active passive. With this language called form learning, or these elements of your English will obviously brighten as well as make your English stronger. First example of ICSE. Why did he deprive you of your property? It's a very common sentence. Now, why were you deprived of your property? By him, you may write, you may not write. No one ought ever to make so false an assumption. By itself is then we were initially again confused where to start from. Well, they have given end with ought never to be made. So false an assumption ought never to be made itself is right answer. But to be sure, but what happened to that no one? Well, if you want to put no one, you can put this way. So false an assumption by anyone ought never to be made. Okay, otherwise you can simply write no false an assumption ought never to be made. He usually found that the trouble is caused by overeating. It is usually found. So one finds. It is usually found, one finds that overeating causes trouble. Yeah, dear children, listen, try to understand, concentrate, and see the science behind the changes from active to passive or passive to active. 3 men are loading the cart is very simple language, very simple sentence. The cart is being loaded by 3 men. He was known to be a kind man. He was, past tense. So everyone knew him. I knew him. All knew him. Anything you can write. Everyone knew him, or I knew him. All knew him to be a kind man. Alas, we shall hear his voice no more. Again, when you hear for the first time, you say, Babri, Babri, what is there to change? Well, alas, we shall hear his voice no more. So, his voice. We shall hear what? His voice. So, alas, his voice shall not be heard anymore. Should you write by us? You can. If you don't write, it's okay. Understood. Alas, his voice shall not be heard anymore. We must listen to his music. His music must be listened to. Should you write by us? Not required. His music must be listened to. There is reason to believe that they have saved the crew. It is reasonable to believe, a typical different type of example. It is reasonable to believe that they have saved the crew. He will be elected secretary by the group. Obviously, the group will elect him secretary. The group will elect him secretary. Short dresses are now being worn again. I was quite surprised to see this example in your total English book. Anyhow, this is the answer is ladies are now wearing short dresses. So you have got so many examples, and now it's time for you to listen to or get familiar with these examples again and again, and that's these are not enough. This is just a few of thousands of examples. Now children, is it's my advice that you take this grammar class seriously. uh, it is not for your exam only. This grammar is a skill for your whole life. Wherever you go, the grammar is used directly or indirectly. Wish you all the best, stay safe, and keep learning.